Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Taper Talk. I talk about a lot. I talk about the books I read, the podcasts I listen to, the films I watch, the television series on Netflix, and people say, where do you get all this information? It just seems endless, like you're an encyclopedia, and it's boom, boom, boom. And that's true. There's something about me. My brain does not stop. So from the time I get up until I go to bed, I'm just constantly reading and listening to podcasts and thinking. Elon Musk said, Elon Musk said, not that I'm Elon Musk, but I think our brains work the same. It's like these ideas, constant. He goes, the problem is I can't shut it off. Fortunately, I can. I didn't used to be able to do that. I actually did a video recording on my problem with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. But what saved me was meditation, my practice of Vipassana. Which really is just insight meditation or mindfulness, really. So I am going to someone who I would say I have so many mentors, right? The books I've read, like I talked about Houston Smith. I love that man, and he totally changed my life. Houston Smith wrote The World's Religions, but another person who's had such a great impact and influence on me, and I never met the man, but Sam Harris. I just started listening to today's podcast, and by the way, if you've not listened to Sam Harris, just the best. The name of his podcast is Making Sense. And so anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of this. He talks about he's got an app called Waking Up, and it's about this meditation practice of the stuff that I practice, what I do every day: Vipassana, insight meditation, mindfulness. And this little clip here, he talks about space, time, and reality, and it's really profound. One thing I'll say about Sam Harris, like a lot of people think of, Sam Harris, one of the four horses of the apocalypse. He's the new atheist, right? Like in 2004, was it 2005? I don't know. But he came out with that book, End of Faith, and he's like the atheist. He's, Sam Harris, Daniel Dennett, the late Christopher Hitchens, and Richard Dawkins. Yes, that is the guy. But I'll say this, Sam Harris is perhaps one of the most spiritual persons, and I know I don't like that word spiritual, I put this in quotes, but Sam Harris is one of the deepest thinkers I've ever encountered or listened to or read, and we think alike on so many different things. I mean, the way he phrases things, it's just beautiful. He's such a great writer. Profound stuff. So let me just play a little bit of this, just a couple of minutes, and so you could get an idea when he talks about what the hell is real. What is real? Okay, and he gets into like something that's in space and time, something like this is real, matter. But what about abstractions like numbers? The number 7. Ideas, life, and as he talks about, life is not a thing, it's a process. But let me just play this. This is profound.
Enjoy that, and then I'll be back with today's guest.
Here we go. The great Sam Harris.
I'd like you to consider what is real in this moment. That is, what actually exists, and what of the things that exist actually matter, and what makes things matter. We tend to think of reality in terms of space and of things in space. We think of people and places that matter to us. We accumulate possessions.
I'm sorry, I paused this. It doesn't really, I'm sorry, it's just a podcast. There's no video, so I'm just holding it up so you hear it. So it doesn't really matter, but I hit pause on this. So here we go.
Things in drawers and closets that we care about.
Listen.
Or once cared about. We move from room to room in our homes, into spaces that we maintain for different purposes. So the sense of what is there for us in each moment is bound up with this sense of space. And we have digital lives that take place in virtual spaces. And we can now see distant places on Earth in real time without having to travel. We can communicate with people who are elsewhere, but they're real to us by reference to their being in space.
You don't need
And
to
if you
say it.
believe
There's
that
no
God exists, well, then the question becomes, where? The reality of anything seems to entail its existence in space. And it's because abstract quantities like numbers violate this principle that their existence becomes so hard to think about. In what sense does the number 7 exist?
say.
That becomes philosophically interesting and even inscrutable because existence is so bound up with our sense of space. And time hovers over all of this like a ghost. In one sense, it's another abstraction based on the reality of change. All things that exist seem to change, and one thing causes or cancels another. It's based on these changes that we form a picture of
I was
time.
talking about this in one of my earlier
Now,
video
we can get
recordings.
closer to the truth by importing time into our thinking about things. We can think in terms of processes rather than things. We can turn nouns into verbs. You as a person are not really a thing. You're a process.
Yep.
You're a stream of actions and experiences. And your moment-to-moment engagement with the world of things and ideas changes you. You acquire new skills and opinions and desires and concerns. You're not precisely who you were yesterday, and you don't exactly know who you'll be tomorrow. And look at what matters to you. Your relationships. A relationship isn't a thing. It's built upon experiences with another person. And a career isn't a thing. And your health isn't a thing. Everything you experience is made of moments in time. But the real significance of time is not what happens on the calendar or on the clock, but in our minds. The true source of profundity is attention. That is the cash value.
I'm going to
of
pause
time.
this right now.
We all know what it's like to go.
And that's it. Attention. Right? What is anything? It's really attention, consciousness. Like what is it? It's here, your mind. Like what is reality? And you think about the quality of experience of reality is really just based on attention, using attention. Here's I'll leave with an anecdote from a Zen master on his deathbed, and one of his disciples was asking him, like, someone who's just trying to figure out what is this meditation, what is it? And he goes, "Can you please, your last, do you have anything to say before you pass on? What is the secret meditation?" All he said, he grabbed and he goes, "Attention." And the disciple goes, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Attention." And then he died. That's it. Okay, people, Tabor Talk. Have a great day, people. A couple more coming at you.